here. That's where I just think we are fundamentally misrepresenting the football game we just saw on Sunday. Sunday was not, I'm Jalen Hurts, I'm going to sacrifice my stats for the betterment of the team. Sunday was, I played a very bad game, and luckily, Saquon Barkley and my defense and Jordan Love bailed me out.
You want to talk about misrepresenting that game? Let's get into it. I'm so happy you just said that because this is so wrong. This is fundamentally wrong. Nothing that was said right there is accurate. Nothing.
I watched that game yesterday and get concerned about the performance by Jalen Hurts. I do have concerns about the pass game, though, because when I watch the tape, I go, nobody's open. And they're way too talented of a group to get people open. Now, credit Green Bay, but it felt like when I watched the tape, Green Bay knew exactly where people were going to be. I mean, there's nowhere for Jalen Hurts to throw this football, and so he has to kind of throw this ball as a throwaway, and it's a 2 or 3 yard completion. Down in the red zone, where? I mean, everybody's gripped up. There's nowhere to throw the ball. Maybe Saquon in the back corner float, but that's by the time that happens, he's leaving the pocket. Another opportunity, you're down in the red zone, you want to run a screen. Green Bay's all over it. I mean, it's almost like Green Bay had such an idea of they're going to run this stuff out of these looks or these actions. Again, nobody open, and by the time someone might late, even though I don't think they're actually open, Jalen's got to leave the pocket. And so everyone was having the conversation of Jalen Hurts was so bad yesterday. Look it, there's nobody on the field that's open. Green Bay has matched up everything and everybody. And so everyone was sitting there going, well, Jalen Hurts was rusty. I just didn't feel that way. I looked at the tape and said, my big concern would be, why does it look like Green Bay knew where everybody was going to be pass game-wise? And now...
Yeah, exactly. So stop with the false narrative that Jalen Hurts had this awful game. When considering the circumstances, he played really well. He took care of the ball. He did not make the mistake. He did not force the ball to receivers just because they wanted the ball really badly. He picked up first downs. He used his legs. He managed the game exactly as it needed to be. And that's now suddenly a bad thing. That's suddenly a bad thing. We talk about how Matthew Stafford had an unbelievable game throwing to literally wide open receivers. Wide open. Joe Buck the whole time was, and Puka Nacua is wide open. I mean, it was just, that's all they kept saying. And so-and-so is wide open. Everyone was wide open. Drake, and then you have Troy Aikman saying, you can't get much more open than that. And yet, he played an unbelievable game. But Jalen Hurts got lucky and was bailed out by his defense, Saquon Barkley, and Jordan Love playing poorly. Interesting. That's weird. That doesn't make sense to me. No. And I'm sorry, I trust Dan Orlovsky's ability to break down quarterback footage. Quarterback film. Quarterback play. Oh, I know. He stepped out of bounds in the end zone. He's not good. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay, sure. I know. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just a clown. Sure. Now Dan Orlovsky doesn't know. Now Tom Brady doesn't know. Because Tom Brady said that he played high-level football too. You know more than Tom Brady? You're more confident in your evaluation of how Jalen Hurts played than Tom Brady? Again, be my guest. Be my guest. Go think that you know more than them. Go. That you are walking that path by yourself, man. I will not follow you down that. I will not. That's where Batman's parents end up, okay? You go walk down that alley. Go do it. You'll have the same journey of Batman's parents. So good luck. I just don't get it. I really don't. We just swing through such extremes. It's okay. I've said this now in so many videos because I just have to, because sometimes when I come out so passionately, people will then they'll have comebacks, but it's the wrong conversation. It's the wrong argument, because I'm not sitting here saying Jalen Hurts is the greatest passer in the NFL. Jalen Hurts is a top passer. Jalen Hurts' arm is amazing. He is so great. He is a top 3 passer in the NFL. Like, That's not my argument either. It's not. And I've already rehashed this so many different times. But I just can't. And when someone says with such conviction that Jalen Hurts played poorly in that game and was bailed out, we have literal proof that that's not true. Literal proof that that's not the story of this game. And then it makes me question, like, did you watch the game? Did you watch the game? And then did you listen to other people discuss the game that may know more than you or can offer a different perspective than you? That's what I do. That's what I do. Sometimes I have to jump to my own conclusions, just completely cold, especially immediately post-game, but I reach my own conclusions. I take my notes like I always talk about, and then I seek other people's opinions. That's what you do. Any expert, and I don't think that I'm an expert. I am far, far, far from an expert. But now when we're actually talking about literal experts in any field, doctors, lawyers, carpenters, doesn't matter. Blue collar, white collar, green collar, anything in between. You always seek the opinions of other people. Even doctors, people who are curing cancer, they'll consult with another doctor. Hey, I got this patient, this. What do you I'm thinking that we should do an A and a B and a C, but I'm not sure. What are you looking at? What do you think? Oh, interesting point. I didn't look at it like that. That's what you do. You get other people's opinions. And then you try to piece it all together. Yeah, I agree what Orlovsky was saying, but I think that's not the whole story. I think because of the way how the Packers defense was able to contain the wide receivers is actually because of a certain liability in Jalen Hurts' passing game. Like, okay, fine, let's have that conversation. And that's just a made-up example. But I'm just saying, like, it doesn't mean that what one person says is automatically true either. Again, it's why you're putting all of this together. But you can't see things like that and then with your chest out, ripping your shirt off, having the courage of the conviction to say, Jalen Hurts played awful and he was bailed out. That is not true. That's not how this game unfolded. At all. So we can have honest discussions. And then again, when we compare it to Matthew Stafford, it's so perfect that the Eagles are playing the Rams. Matthew Stafford throwing to wide open people. And to be clear, I think Matthew Stafford is a better passer than Jalen Hurts. It's not even up for a debate from my viewpoint because Matthew Stafford is a true elite passer of the ball. But like I said, multiple things can be true at once. And it's just hilarious to me that Matthew Stafford is being praised as throwing, as having this amazing game. An amazing game. When the bulk of his yards came from the opening drive when he was throwing to... I live streamed that game. And I was like, oh my God, these are some wide open receivers. Go watch for that game. You hear Joe Buck going wide open, where his voice cracks. Wide open. And having Troy Aikman laugh. Well, it doesn't get much easier than that. Yeah, well, you can't get much more wide open than that. That was the whole game, man. And they were like 2 for 8 or 2 for 10 on third down. But he played an unbelievable game. He fumbled the ball and got bailed out saying that it was a passing attempt. Okay, sure. It was a passing attempt. I believe it was a passing attempt. Right? I think he threw it. Yeah, he threw it, right? Yeah, passing attempt. This is ridiculous. We have lost our minds at this point. We have lost our minds. There's another path that I want to take this conversation, but I also really don't because I defend against it so much too. I see why certain people get so upset when we have certain conversations about certain quarterbacks. I don't think that, in fact, I firmly believe that that's not what's happening. But I can see when we have conversations like this, that's where people's minds go. And I'm very sympathetic to it. I understand it. I do. I don't think that's where it goes because we've had similar conversations about other quarterbacks who are definitely different. So that's why. But I can see how when you get hyper focused on something, you can be like, that can't you see? But it's just absurd. And again, this ends up being such a lose-lose situation for Jalen Hurts, because you're then asking, like, we're living in a world where, and I mean a football world, to be clear, where people would rather see Jalen Hurts throw for 300 and lose than Jalen Hurts throw for 150, 160. And that's it. I mean, it just ends up being a lose-lose situation, especially because now Jalen Hurts can't have any type of a bad game. He can't have any type of a turnover. Like, if he makes any mistake, it's like automatic proof that he's not good, that he's bad, even though there's plenty of evidence to suggest the exact opposite. And that's what it is. It now leaves no room for Jalen Hurts to even struggle or even have remotely a bad game. And yet, that is a standard that we put upon only GOATs. Only the Bradys and the Mahomes of the world. Because we've seen Lamar Jackson struggle in playoff games. We've seen Josh Allen struggle in playoff games. Now, haters use that as evidence to see he's not that good. And I defend it. But again, we have someone like Patrick Mahomes who throws for 62%. 6.8 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a 78.1 passer rating, and he won the Super Bowl. His averages in the Super Bowl, he has an 85 passer rating. 3 out of his 4 Super Bowls, he's had under 100 rating, and this is supposed to be the GOAT, or the GOAT in waiting. He has 7 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. 5 interceptions. A 7-to-5 touchdown interception ratio in the Super Bowl. And again, before anyone comes back at me and says, well, this is the Super Bowl. Again, it was against Jimmy Garoppolo, Brock Purdy, and apparently people who hate Jalen Hurts. So all of his Super Bowls are against bad people, bad quarterbacks. And then don't say, well, he played against the defenses, not the quarterbacks. Oh, well, that's convenient. Now you want to play that game. You don't want to play that game when we're talking about Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen, or, Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar, or whatever. You don't want to play that game then. But when you want to defend this, then you want to say, well, he's playing against the defenses, not Jimmy Garoppolo. Okay. No, okay, I get it now. Are we playing Jenga, Yahtzee, or Monopoly? What are we doing here? Are we playing chess, checkers, Go Fish, poker? Like, what game are we playing, man? Bravo. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Jalen Hurts, the Philadelphia Eagles? And Jalen Hurts just being that bad quarterback, holding this team back. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here. Absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.